Chapter 7. The first wave of heat hits me, and I curse, rushing outside in the open. The cold winds hit the beads of sweat covering my forehead, giving me a temporary relief, while I clenched my stomach, which was churning in pain. I have waited too long. Vulcan will not be coming. Shifting to my small brown wolf, which was the mere size of a fox, I rushed out into the lush green garden, not caring about anything anymore, determined to reach the forest. My claws are heavy and my body staggering with pain, but I don't stop. It was do or die today. Merely 5 minutes into the forest, and the howls of wolves start echoing around me, making adrenaline rush in my veins. Determination to save my virtue was unfathomable today, and I was going to prove it to him. Another wave hits, stronger this time, and I scream. My scent emerged around me like waves of pleasure hitting the unmated wolves. They growled again, and this time I could feel their heavy paws following. 2.3 or maybe more? I couldn't determine. Too lost in just looking ahead and running. 2 minutes into the chase and I could see them coming closer, baring their teeth at me like starved savages. My hinged legs were shaking with the amount of energy draining from my body, my snout running dry and my vision blurring. Come on, you can't stop, come on. I continue running. The borders finally become visible to me, and a new hope rises in my chest. Yes, Thora, we can do it. It was not a good idea to cross Vulcan's borders, as rogues were worse than packwolves. But still, this was the only way to loose the ones on my trail right now, and I could do anything for it. They were just a few feet away from me when I leaped over the fence borders. Shit! I feel the pointed wires on it slashing past my wolf's belly, and I hold in a painful whine, not stopping. The growls echoed in the distance, inside the borders, and I sighed in relief. I was safe, at least for now. Looking around, I find a deadly forest surrounding me, its silence suffocating, yet my only solace. Looking up at the moon, a low, painful whimper came from my wolf as she realized it was just 15 minutes into the heat, and we still had the entire night ahead of us. My highlighted senses managed to hear running water nearby, and that's when a brilliant idea strikes my mind. The water, it can cover scents. What if it can also cover heat to some extent? Plus, I was really thirsty. With tired limbs, I struggled to move towards the stream, wary of every little noise coming around me. 30 minutes into the rogue lands, and I saw it finally. A river flooding with water. Jumping into it, my wolf form immediately freezes under the negative temperature of the water. My brown coat darkened as my body shivered. But I didn't care. Instead, the slight fever in my body, due to the heat, was neutralized, and I could finally breathe. The numbing of my limbs calmed me as I rested against a rock, letting the heavy waves hit me, washing away the blood in my wound, cleaning it even though it hurt a bit. The sound of waves clashing with the rocks made me forget everything. If only the night could pass so peacefully. If only I could stay here forever. In the womb of Mother Nature. Away from the hatred-filled eyes of her mate. Away from everyone that's ever hurt me. But I knew I couldn't survive alone. I wasn't strong enough. A she-wolf, alone as a rogue, would be killed brutally in the worst way possible. No one will come to save me. I have tried escaping from London once, and the scars of that night still give me nightmares. Another hour passed, and once assured that it was safe here, I changed into my human form. Shit! Shit! I cursed again as it felt way colder. I thought of shifting again, but just a minute in the ice-cold water, and I was numb to everything. The cold no longer bothered. Water covered my naked form to my chest, and my teeth cluttered with cold. But other than that, I was good. Enduring. For what you ask? For just one thing. To prove him. To prove Vulcan as to what extent I can go to save my virtue and respect. To prove to him that my morals were not loose as he thought. I know right now he can feel my heat, my sufferings. But I also know that he is doing this deliberately. He said he wouldn't touch someone like me. And today, he just proved it. He didn't come to me to relieve me, to help me. So I had to do it. I had to run. And now, when I think a bit rationally about it, I know why he didn't come. He was waiting for me to mate with someone else tonight, so that his wolf can finally reject me, tagging me as impure. As a betrayer. When a human rejects his mate, it's common that his wolf counterpart hates him for doing it. But when a wolf rejects his mate, the bond between the human and his wolf remains the strongest. He didn't reject me earlier at Landon's pack because it was him. But tonight in the full moon, in my first heat, he wanted his wolf to reject me. A tear leaves my eyes at the very thought. How stupid I was to think that he would one day forgive me. He already wanted to get rid of me, by allowing any random unmated wolf to mate with me. He didn't care about what would happen to me. He will never come to save my honor. Why will he? When he already considers me of loose character. I couldn't help but cry, staring at the full moon. I let the wet tears slide down my chin and mix with the icy water. This is our fate, Thora, and we have to live with it. Closing my eyes, I don't know when my brain started freezing with my body. My limbs felt too heavy to move as another painful whimper left my lips. I tried getting up to get out of the water, but I couldn't move my body anymore. How long have I stayed like this? Panic hit my inside as I struggled, trying to thrash against the current flow to only fall back at the rock on which I held. And that's when I realized the water flow had increased drastically. Where it earlier reached my chest, it was up to my chin now. Afraid, I struggled and thrashed more, to only feel my legs moving. Thank Moon Goddess. I finally moved to get out of the water when my footsteps froze. I feel something very odd around me, the aura darkening and deadly. And that's when I look around. A pair of yellow eyes stared at me through the bushes, and I felt my heart thudding rapidly in my chest. Gulping, I moved back into the water to lean back against the same rock. No, this can't be happening. How did? I heard another low snarl from behind me. And that's when all hopes of leaving here alive died. Turning around, I saw another pair of yellow eyes, and another, and another. There were around 15 pairs of yellow eyes staring at me. Through the bushes, surrounding me, entrapping me. No, please. No exclamation mark. I begged through my frozen lips and cluttering teeth to only hear their snarls in return. Stepping closer, they move out of the shadows, and that's when I see them clearly. 15 vicious rogues snarled at me while taking small predator steps towards me. Surrounding me, they trapped me from all sides, leaving no means of escape. My body shivered as I saw the color of their eyes changing, from yellow to blood red, showing only one emotion that scared the shit out of me and my weak wolf: hunger and fervor. The archaic name of the word blinds everyone's senses and makes all of us descendants of animals. Lust. I gulped, looking back at the running stream, and that's when I knew I had to make a choice. Death is inevitable tonight, but from whose hands? That was what I would decide. Changing back into my wolf form, I growled at them as loudly as I could, making it echo in the silent forest. Looking up at the full moon, I was ready to lie in the lap of Mother Nature forever. A teardrop leaves my eyes, thinking about my useless existence till now. And that's when I turn my back on the wolves and again growl at them, daring them to move forward. They don't stop though. Moving closer, they growl back, asking me to stop when I finally do it. I jump. Chapter 8. Death. It's not that easy as it seems. At least not how I thought it to be. My numb body was thrashing against the current of the water, my lungs protesting and whining, leaving my wolf. But I couldn't escape it. The thrust of the water much stronger than my weak limbs. Water gushed into my snout, and my wolf form hit random rocks, making a cracking sound to be audible to my ears. It seems I will be broken beyond repair, if that was not enough of a nightmare. Imagine the very reason I jumped into the water was still there. The rogues were crazy and blind enough to jump into the water behind me, and were now baring their teeth at me. One of them was just near my hind leg, and next I know, he grabbed it in its deadly jaw, making a sharp, helpless yelp to leave my lips. Please, not like this, moon goddess. Not like this. The other rogue joined him, holding my other hind leg, when our bodies hit another big rock. Too desperate to save myself, my wolf form is able to hold on to the big rock, whimpering and whining. Trying to wriggle out of the grip of two rogues, I try moving my legs, but they were locked in their snouts, making my half-body fur down below to be covered red in the color of blood. Tears of helplessness left my eyes as my body entered into a state of shock. The eyes of those rogues looked like my death, and I thought of surrendering myself. The current of water didn't bother them as they were ready to devour their prey. One of them tears apart a chunk of my flesh on my hind leg, and I growl lowly at him. Instead of loosening their grip, they both instead growled at me loudly. Moving up towards my neck, my wolf whimpered this time, thrashing weakly, their red eyes staring, enjoying my vulnerability. One of them bared its teeth near my neck, while the other sniffed it. I left my grip on the rock, hoping to be carried by the current, when they stand over my weak wolf, locking me on the rock behind, under their big frame, not letting me escape. This was it. My end. This is how I was going to die today. I saw the full moon above, with tears leaving my eyes, and I finally did it. I surrendered to a brutal death. With a low whine, I moved my head to a side in submission. And that's when their growling ceased. This is what they wanted, and now I gave it them. Waiting for them to plunge their canines into my neck any second, I waited. But it didn't come. Instead, I heard a loud, painful cry, and the rogue on top of me was thrown off me with a force that made him fly a few feet in the air to go crash with another rock behind. I looked up to see a big jet black wolf standing on top of me, growling at the rogues. His growl was loud enough to shake the very base of the rock on which we stood. His aura emitted power like I had never felt before. It even made me scared of his presence. Before I could understand much, he lowered his snout to my level, making me stare at his grey orbs. And that's when I knew whose wolf it was. Vulcan. His muzzle opens to grab onto my neck, and a low whimper left me. He doesn't mind it though, carrying me like a father wolf carries his pup, holding it up from his neck. He lifts my small wounded and broken wolf form to jump onto the land and lay me down on it softly. Once assured that I was safe, he turns around to the other rogue, and that's when the fight begins. 10 seconds. I just counted till 10 seconds to see the rogues fall down dead. One's neck was teared apart from his body, while the other was bleeding to death. Pushing their dead bodies into the running water, Vulcan clears his snout of their blood in the running stream to only turn around to approach me. I laid there lifeless and still, just like he left me. My hind legs, wounded and useless, while my front legs too weak to move. I couldn't help but just wail in pain as I just managed to move my boring, teary brown eyes to look at his cold grey ones. His paws hit the ground, making fear to enter my body. But today, for the first time, more than fear, I felt relief flood my insides. For a few seconds, he didn't do anything. He just stands there, starting at my bleeding form next to his feet. And then a low, angry growl rumbled from his chest, showing his disappointment in me. His resentment towards me for running away when I was in heat. I couldn't help lower my gaze, and that's when he moved forward, assessing the damage. He sniffs me everywhere, circling around me, making me extremely comfortable. But I didn't dare move or snarl at him. His snout nudged my hind leg, asking me to open it to show him my wound clearly. I do reluctantly, letting him see me all weak and vulnerable, and that's when another growl emerges from him. My wolf form trembled under his rumble, and he seized it immediately. His breath hits the open wound on my leg, and next, I know, he starts licking it, making an uncontrollable, painful whimper to leave my wolf. My wolf tried closing his leg, feeling really uncomfortable with our mate licking us. To only have his huge claw to be placed on my paw instead of stopping me. I again whined, and he growled loudly, scolding me for defying him. I left all my struggles after that, lying immobile, for him to tend to my injuries. Too weak to fight or even dare to defy him in such a wounded state. He continues to lick for next few minutes, until the blood flow stopped. His presence alone calmed my heat, making my wolf wish to snuggle in his huge frame and sleep peacefully in his warm embrace. But again, it was all wishful thinking. He was saving me, but it didn't mean he wanted me. He hated me. Once done, he steps back, changing into his human form, and I immediately lowered my eyes. Feeling shy, he doesn't mind my presence, pulling out the shorts tied around his ankle. He wears them, looking down at me. His next words made me freeze all of a sudden, and my ice-cold body shivered more. Shift back. How can he? I am a woman. How can I shift in front of him? I don't want him to see me. All naked. I pulled my legs together, forming into a bawl and lowly wail, to only make his eyes harden. Stepping closer, his deadly aura surrounded me, and my frail body tried to move back from him. Thrashing, his eyes darken, and next I know he crouches down to my level. Moving his hand closer, he runs his fingers through my dusty fur, surprising me. He was gentle, and his touch soothing for once, making an involuntary moan to leave my lips. Fuck! I was still in heat. You have already caused enough trouble for me, little mate. Now shift back if you want to reach back to the pack. Alive! I kept starting at his feet, as my teeth cluttered with the cold, and then I finally nodded. Good girl! With a final pat on my head, he gets up and throws his shirt on top of me. The soft fabric envelopes me in its warmth immediately. He turns his back on me, and that's when I do it. Cracking of bones is heard and a low scream leaves my lips as I feel some of my rib bones broken due to the impact in the water. Without wasting a second, I picked up his t-shirt with my shaky fingers and threw it over my head. It covers me up till my mid-thigh, causing relief flooding in. I am done. I managed to stutter through my trembling lips. My pale, cold fingers were holding onto the fabric of his shirt tightly. He turns around, and his eyes darken for a second to return to their original grays. I was still in heat, and he could smell it clearly from me, but he didn't let it control it. Moving closer, he stares at the big wound on my thigh, and he sighs. The bastard tore through your skin to reach the tissues. It's gonna take a few days. How is your wolf at healing? I remain silent. How do I tell him I am no better than a human? He will hate me more. He doesn't say anything, placing one arm under my knees and the other under my back. He picks me up effortlessly. Our skins came in contact, and it sent a string of tingles to my spine, but neither of us showed it. Adjusting me comfortably in his arms, he walks down the deserted forest, looking bothered and angry at something. I stare at his beautiful face while he looks in front. I move up my trembling fingers to trail his features, wishing to soothe them. But how can I, when I was the reason behind it? Lowering my hand, I lowered my fingers, letting my arm lie limp on my side, closing my eyes. A few minutes into the forest, and I remain like that, his thudding heart, my only solace from the soul-numbing pains in my body. Try to stay awake, he ordered, looking down at me, but I had no energy to look back at him or even reply. Giving him no reaction, I felt his grip on me tightening, and a long sigh leave his lips. Proceeding to walk again, he whispered lowly to himself, and I wished I hadn't heard him say it. Why do I have to get a weak, pathetic mate like her? Were the last words I heard him say, as the last lone tear leaves my eyes to trail down my cheek. With no more fight left in me, I welcomed darkness in the arms of the man that loathed me with his everything. Chapter 9. What we fear, we become. So I thought of becoming fearless for once. He stared at her. His eyes took in her wounded thigh and the long claw marks on her stomach, and he couldn't help feel the anger run in his veins. How much did he hate those filthy rogues? How dare they touch his mate with their filthy hands? Yes, he didn't like the girl, but those vulgar thoughts of those rogues about his mate, the ones he could hear clearly in his head, they made him tear apart their limbs to throw them into the running water. The girl's healing is slow, Your Majesty. The wound got infected, and her wolf is too weak to fight the fever. I have given her the IV, but she will take more time to heal. The pack doctor said, and Vulcan merely sighed, expecting this. Hopefully, once the heat is over, the fever will come down on its own. With this, the doctor leaves, closing the door behind him, while Vulcan runs his hand through his hair, staring at the trouble lying on his bed. Damn, man. He was thinking of getting over with this rejection today, to be free of this girl after this night forever. But see where this stupid girl brought them. Here, with her lying on his very bed all wounded with a burning fever. Earlier, he thought she was plain stupid, but now he believed she was a psycho as well. Who in their sane mind would go into a forest full of rogues on the day of their heat? Did she have a death wish? And not to forget, she jumped into a running river to escape them. He just stares at her peaceful face, trying to interpret the mysteries related to the girl. Thora Valentina. That's her real name. His wolf purring in his mind, hearing him say his mate's name. But that's it. There is going to be nothing more than this between them, and he will make sure of it. She has defied his rules today, and he will make sure to punish her once she wakes up, leveraging the freedom he gave her. It was time to teach her who was in control here. Thora's POV, I groaned in pain as I woke up, to feel myself lying on something soft and velvety. Looking around in surprise, I saw myself covered in silken sheets, the room screaming luxury. Scared, I looked down to see myself wearing an oversized shirt, the scent on it making it clear to whom it belonged. Gulping, I remember last night's events, and I curse my fate. Hell, man, why do I have to be so stupid? What were you thinking going into the forest, Vera, and see where it got us now? Here, back in the stupid pack house, I heard the bathroom door opening, and what I saw made me open and close my mouth in surprise. Vulcan walks out in shorts, his torso naked, a towel around his neck as he dries his black hair with it, while looking up at me for merely a second. Ignoring me, he stands in front of the mirror and continues to dry his hair. The reflection of his front and that tone's abs caused an uneasiness to settle in my stomach, and I looked down shyly, feeling my cheeks burning up. Pulling the comforter up to my chest, I just realized I was naked down below, wearing nothing at all. What am I doing here? I managed to ask, and his hand stills. Those cold grey eyes stared at me from the mirror, like they wanted to kill me, and I flinched under his gaze, tightening my grip on the comforter. Throwing away the towel, he steps towards me and I try moving back, afraid of his anger. Standing beside my bed, he again just stares, making beads of sweat appear on my forehead. Why are his eyes so beautiful yet scary? What is he going to do to me? Rule number 2, repeat it for me, he said, and it took me a few seconds to interpret what he was saying. The thudding of my heart, distracting my brain from working properly. Speak! He roars this time, and I flinch back again. My hands shook as I tried to remember what he said. That day we entered the Vulcan Empire. You asked me to do... you said, or else I will be puny, shed. I couldn't look back at him. I had broken the rule. He will hurt me, just like Landon. And did I tell you to leave yesterday? I hold the comforter for my only support. Tears leave my eyes without me controlling. My lips wobbled as I tried to speak, but nothing came out of my lips. "Answer me!" I again flinched at his tone. I lowered my eyes, staring at his fists that were clenching. Was he going to hurt me? No, you didn't. He steps closer if possible, dipping one knee into the mattress. I moved back further, making my head hit the headboard behind me. He doesn't stop. Placing his hands on my heads each side, he moves his face closer to me. And what did I say happens when you disobey me? He raises his perfectly shaped eyebrows in anticipation as I struggle to speak. I get punished. He blinks at this, his grey eyes staring back at my boring brown ones. As he breathes, his breath hits my lips. Good. And just like that, he moves back, making a long-held breath to leave my lips. But who said it was over? The man was messing with my brain completely. "Get up!" came his next command as he opened his cupboard and pulled out a shirt. I followed his order this time while making sure to lift the comforter with me. He looks back at me over his shoulder, his eyes stopping at the comforter held in my hands, trying to cover my legs. And they harden. "Drop it!" He referred to it, and I panicked. I said, "Drop the damn comforter." And that's when the cloth slips from my fingers, dropping on the ground. My eyes lower in embarrassment, while he simply nods and proceeds towards the desk, gathering some sheets of paper, not looking back at me. I continued to stand there, shifting my weight from one leg to another, not knowing what to do. Slight pain enters my thigh as I look down at the bandages covering it, blood visible on it. "Now step forward and come here." He refers to the carpet placed in the center of the room, and I walked towards it, wincing as pain entered my thighs whenever I tried moving in. What does he even plan to do? Is this his punishment? I thought he was better than Landon, but I guess I was wrong again. All male wolves are just one thing: controlling bastards. He stepped towards me, eyes fixed on my face, which was lowered in shyness. Stepping past me, he walked past me, and I couldn't help try pulling down his shirt, trying to cover my legs. "Stop fidgeting." My hand is still, and I feel goosebumps on my skin. He was looking at me from behind. Shit. I was still, all of a sudden, now aware of his heated stare at my back. Clenching my fist, I heard some shuffling behind me, but I didn't dare turn around. Silence stretches after that, to be only broken by his words that made my heart leap in my chest. "Open up your legs." But what is he even doing? I was in heat yesterday. What if his wolf wanted to do it, forcing me? No, I can't let that happen. No way. I tried to turn around to only have him place his hand on my neck from behind, making me still. My back hits his front, and I feel the tingles explode. "Don't argue with me, girl. I have had enough of your disrespect. Now do as I say." Gulping, I merely nodded, feeling his breath near my ear. I widen my legs a bit, and his grip on my neck loosens. Trailing down his fingers, he moves them down my back, and I feel his touch leaving a trail of tingles and warmth. Wider. His voice sounded further than before, and that's when I felt his fingers near my thigh, making me jerk away from him suddenly. Ah! I whined in pain as my sudden movement made the wound hurt more. His grip on my thighs tightened as he roared from behind me. Stay still, damn it. You are going to make it worse. And I obliged, doing what he was saying. He will not hurt me. If he wanted to, he would have already hurt me. His fingers move over the bandage and he starts untying it. His fingers brushed past my skin, making small tingles to spark. He doesn't speak anything after that, once the bandage is fully removed. He left it like that for a few minutes to go and search for something in the drawer behind. I took this as an opportunity to look down and assess my injury. The depth of the wound made my mind go numb suddenly. The longer I stared, the worse I felt. I could feel something build inside me at the sight when I heard his cold voice behind me. Look in front. And I do, closing my eyes. I couldn't see it anyways. I have been whipped and hurt before, but never like this. It was so deep that I thought I could see my bone below. Shit, man. It should hurt. Then why isn't it hurting? Is it because of the adrenaline of the heat? It has to be. Ah! I screamed when I felt something burn, making tears slide down my eyes. I would have definitely fallen down if it wasn't for his firm grip on my thigh and my back. It's the antiseptic, or the infection will make it worse. He tries to explain and I just nod, my whole frame shivering under the mind-numbing pain. Leaving it after applying the medicine, he comes and crouches down in front of me, a bandage in his hand as he starts wrapping it. He stops in between, sighing. Place your foot here. I can't do it properly, he said, motioning to his knee, and I felt weird. The great werewolf, king of the world, sitting in front of me near my feet, mending the wounds on my thigh, asking me to place my foot on his knee. Weird was a small world. I was ought to feel uncomfortable. I did reluctantly, looking down at him. His cold grey eyes are not looking so cold today. A slight hue of warmness is evident in them today. His hand adjusts my foot on his knee properly, and he continues to wrap the bandage after it. Once done, he holds my ankle gently and places it down, getting up with the antiseptic and medical stuff in his hand. I have done the dressing. Don't put pressure on it, and just stay in the bed for the day, he says, motioning to his bed, and I just nod, feeling the warmness spread on my face. His caring side was definitely something I never thought existed. This man is no doubt full of mysteries. He looks down at my stomach, and I remember the wound that those wires left from yesterday. Taking my hand and placing a cream in my palm, he says again, "You can manage it there. I have to leave for a meeting." And with this, he turns around from me, leaving me flabbergasted. "But why are you doing this? You said you hated me." My question made him stop and look back at me. The care in his eyes was replaced by fury. "I will repeat rule number 2 for you again, because you don't seem to remember it in your pea-sized brain." Moving closer, he jerks my face up with his grip on my chin, my breath turning rugged. "You speak when I ask you to, and you keep your trap shut otherwise." "I am sorry, I just..." "Now be a good girl. Rest on that bed while I ask someone to get you something to eat." I just lower my eyes and nod, making him move back. Picking up his tuxedo, he wears it, looking at me one last time before leaving. And don't think you are forgiven for the stunt you pulled yesterday. I looked at him in disbelief. His next words left my entire day restless after it. You will be punished for it. Chapter 10. Thora's POV. He returned late at night. I was sleepy but not fully asleep. Sensing his presence, I tried to act to be asleep, to only hear his voice. Stop the pretense! I gulp, cursing. Why are his senses so active? Lifting myself up, I met his eyes to only see him seated on a sofa with one leg placed on the other. His pose was filled with dominance and authority, making me feel so small. "Hello," was all I could say shyly as his heated gaze remained fixed on me. Folding his hands, he merely hums. "What were you thinking, going into the rogue lands during your heat?" I knew this question was coming, and I couldn't help clench the comforter tightly in my fingers. "I am sorry. Did I ask for your apology? I asked you a question, stupid girl. Answer the question." I flinch and gulp the saliva caught in my throat, stuttering out the truth without thinking. I thought I could survive the run. I didn't want to consummate with anyone. He just stares at me, making me feel so insignificant and helpless. His eyes boring holes right into my soul, trying to strip me naked of my self-respect. Are you plainly stupid, or am I mated to an illiterate? Haven't you read what happens to females who go to rogue lands during their heat? I have heard. They are killed after being... I couldn't continue. He was literally scolding me, and my tears were already brimming. After being what? Continue, he says lowly, and I complete the sentence, looking down at my hands. After being raped. Next, I know, my chin is grabbed by his strong grip, and my face is jerked up, my eyes locked with his angry orbs. And did you wish for a fate like that? No, oh, I whispered, letting out the tears. He leaves my chin after a few seconds to make my head fall back down. More tears leave my eyes to fall on the comforter in my hands. I am really sorry. I waited for you, but you didn't came. My wolf was getting restless. She wanted to shift, so I did it. But I promise, I never wanted to trouble you. I am sorry for wasting your time. I didn't intend to really. Oh God, I am so stupid sometimes. I just do things. Shush. No, I would have died today. You were right. If it wasn't for you, they would have Shh. He places his finger on my lips, making my mouth shut and eyes to widen. You talk too much, girl. Be silent. And I do, nodding. Sighing, he moves back and opens the wardrobe to take out a t-shirt from it. Strip, he says, and my eyes widen. Did I hear him right? What the hell does he mean by it? Is it my punishment for running from him? No, I won't. So what if he is my mate? Seeing me non-responsive to his request, he raised his perfectly shaped eyebrows at me, and I clenched the comforter tightly. No, don't you... He just rolls his eyes and starts walking towards me, causing my anxiety to rise. "No! Stop there! Don't you dare!" I screamed at him, moving back to only have his hand clasped around my ankle. "Don't use your stupid brain for once, and keep that useless trap shut. Another word leaves your lips and I will tape it." This makes me freeze, giving him an opportunity to remove the robe around my body and discard it in a corner. I was wearing spaghetti under it, and as soon as the cold wind hit me, I felt goosebumps all over my body. He didn't look down at me inappropriately. Instead, placing my thigh on his lap, he starts opening the bandages to change into new ones. "Did you apply it on your other wounds?" I merely nodded, afraid of telling him the one place where my hand couldn't reach. The claw mark on my back. Once done, he gets up and sighs, to just slump down to the other side of the bed. I stood still, not knowing what to do. Should I ask him? My back hurts whenever I try to sleep. What if the cut is deep? The chances of an infection are high. "Sir," I whisper slowly, scolding myself. "Speak up, Thora, even if you yourself can't hear your own voice. How will he hear it?" "Sir!" On getting no response, I turned around to see him lying on the bed, with eyes closed and arm behind his head. Gulping, I decide to let it go. It won't be that bad. Plus, he looks too peaceful to be disturbed. Nodding to myself, I decided to turn my back on him when I stopped to gawk at his beautiful features. Normally, I don't have the guts to openly stare at him and admire his beauty, but now that he is asleep, I stare, taking in his perfectly shaped eyebrows, the Greek nose and those kissable lips. I felt warmness rush inside me as I just stared at him. How would it feel to have those lips kiss me again? Stupid! Stop having those sinful thoughts. What is it? He suddenly spoke up, making my heart leap in my chest. His eyes were still closed and his features calm and composed. I couldn't reach my back. Can you apply the ointment there?" He didn't react, just opened his eyes and stared at me, making me lower my gaze at such a stupid request. "It's fine. If you don't wish to, it's fine. Sorry for disturbing you. I will just sleep. Sorry." I turned my back on him, closing my eyes. Damn it, Thora. He is the werewolf king. What were you thinking? He hates you. Why do you forget it again and again? He wouldn't have cared if you had died. Still, he came to save you. Be thankful for that of all. Lost in thoughts, I felt something cold on my back, and I froze. I was going to turn, when a strong grip on my shoulder pushed me down to place my cheek on the pillow and in front of the bed. "Stay still," came his voice, as the coldness spread around the wound to neutralize its burning. I clenched my fist, but didn't protest, letting him take care of it. He was taking more time than needed, and I was getting more anxious. And then I got my answers. I felt his finger trail the whip marks on my back, and I froze. Shit! I tried to get up to only have myself pushed back down on the pillow. A low growl emerged from his lips that made my blood run cold. "Who the hell did this?" That was all he asked, and I was lost for words, feeling the aura of the room changing, making a shiver run down my spine. He doesn't stop, tracing the marks with his fingers. He feels each and every one of them. as trails of spark follow, but I couldn't answer him, too scared of what he may do when he gets to know the truth. A sob breaks through my lips, and next I know, he growling near my ear, making me flinch. I asked who the fuck did it? Chapter 11. Ease. I stutter, afraid of his changed aura. To only have him coil his hand around my neck from behind and jerk me up. Ah! A shriek leaves my lips as his face lowers to make his chin rest on my shoulder from behind. His subtle beard hit my cheek and my grip on the bedsheets tightened. When I ask you something, you answer me, girl. He whispers near my ear, his breath hitting my ear, making goosebumps appear on my skin. Yes, sir, I merely said, gulping. He hums, his nose moving down my jawline as he sniffs me. Now speak. His words, loud and rude, were making my heart leap in my chest, and his grip on my neck was strong, but not strong enough to hurt. In my previous pack, I was an Omega. If I didn't listen to orders, just like others, I got punished. He doesn't say anything. I just hope he doesn't ask me more. Or I don't want to lie to him regarding Landon. I felt his front hit my back, whispering again next to my ear. What orders? Shit. What do I say? I can't tell him that I was punished because I refused to sleep with Landon. Why is he so persistent to know about it? Didn't he say he didn't care about me? What orders? I again flinch and clench my fingers, closing my eyes. His other arm moving around my torso to flush my entire back into his, making sparks to light like firecrackers all along my back. I didn't cook food for the guests. Silence. There was a deadly silence in the room, except for his heavy breathing next to my ear. And next I knew, he upturned us to make my back land on the mattress and his hands to pin my wrists above my head. A slight pain hits the wound on my back, but I don't show it to him, closing my eyes tightly, laying below him. You know, mate, I hate one kind of people more than anything in this world. I gulp. His breath hit my lips as he whispered next. Liars! My eyes opened in an instant to only find him already looking at me. Those orbs of grey, bordered by circles of black, making me wish for the heavens to save me. Why? He said again, and I knew I had to answer him this time. Lowering my gaze, I answered lowly. I refused to warm his bed. He took in a deep breath, lowering his face to my neck. I thought he was disgusted with me. Instead, he again sniffs my scent to calm his beast. His lips touched the skin on my neck, making a wetness emerge between my legs. What's happening to me? His name? He asks, placing his lips on the sensitive spot where he is supposed to mark, making me clench my fist and close my legs. I can't. Please. He sucks on the spot harder, making my back arch, and a moan leave my lips. I wish to run my hand through his hair, but he keeps them pinned on the bed above me, touching me but not letting me touch him. His name, Thora? He said my name for the first time, and I melted then and there. My wolf purrs at his happiest, and I blurt out before I can stop myself. Landon! He stills, leaving me in an instant. Lifting his face from my neck, he leaves my wrists, to only place his palms on my heads either side. Now it wasn't that difficult, was it? Too lost in the foreign feelings going on inside me. I was too lost to answer. His eyes moved lower towards my legs, and I closed them instantly, placing my hand in front. He doesn't say anything, just smirks and gets up from bed, taking out a shirt from the wardrobe and wearing it over his naked torso. I didn't have it in me to ask him where he was going, so I just stared. Taking one last look at me, lying on the bed with my hands still above me and legs closed together. He speaks in his cold voice before leaving. Go to sleep. And he's gone, closing the door behind him. Sleep? How was I going to sleep with my wolf all horny and my body all bothered? Letting out a deep breath, I looked up at the ceiling and smiled to myself. My fingers were trailing on the place on my neck where he just kissed, and I could help feel the after affects of his kiss. If this was a trailer of the mate bond I was going to fight, I have got to admit it. I am losing already. Next day, I stayed in his room, but surprisingly he didn't come, neither at night nor during the day. Delicious food was offered to me by a maid I hadn't seen in the maids' quarters, and I relaxed the entire day. The wounds were better now, and I decided to get back to work the next day. The same maid told me that she had informed the alpha of my decision, and he had given his consent to it. Nodding at her, I returned to the maid's quarters, to only stop at the threshold. She stayed there. Can you believe it? Alpha never allows a female in his room. I bet she seduced him. The girl acts so innocent and dumb. As if. That double-faced bitch, another says, to only be joined by the third one. Look, Wise, I hate to admit, but Weirdo is not that bad. I am sure that's what the alpha saw in her. Bailey, their leader, smirks. Of course. What else is there in her? I'm sure the alpha will be tired of her very soon. I clench my fist. So I was right. They were talking about me. I enter to only have them stop, to look at me in disgust. Not bothering them, I limp towards my bed to only have Bailey whisper behind me. He fucked her so hard that it seems she can't even walk properly. They chuckled, and I ignored them again, sitting on the worn-out mattress and cleaning it of the clothes they had thrown on it. Hey, weirdo. How was the alpha in bed? I refused to answer, continuing my work. They won't believe me anyway. See how she is ignoring us, as if she is going to be the next queen. I look up at them to give them a warning, to only have them smirk. What? Who are you staring at, weirdo? Clenching my fist, I took a deep breath. Relax, Thora. We need to rest. Don't bother them. But it seems they didn't have such intentions. Standing around me, they entrapped me with arms folded and eyes narrowed. I said lower your eyes. Bailey warns me to only make me stand up and harden my gaze on her. In hell will I submit to them now? They look at each other smirking and exchanging looks. It seems the weirdo has grown a backbone. Shouldn't we teach her girls who is the leader here? Leave me alone, I say, not in a mood to mess with them, to only have Bailey to grab my chin and pull it up. Too late, weirdo. Not unless you rub your nose on the floor. They snickered at their own joke, and I still continued to stare. It's enough now. I have suffered enough bullying in my previous pack. I won't endure it again. Not here. In the pack, which I was supposed to lead as a Luna. It's fine if no one knows my identity and respects me, but I will not sit silently and endure their bullying. They silence down when they realize I will not be boosting their ego more. Bailey grabs my hair next, tilting it back to make my scalp hurt. I refuse to show fear, still staring at her. Kneel, bitch. She seethes, and before she knows, I smirk, grabbing her neck and pinning her back on the wall. The harsh push made her scream, and the laughter silences down as I whisper lowly, I will not. The rush of adrenaline in my veins made me forget my identity. Shit. I was just a human messing with 3 werewolves around me. How will I fight them? Not to forget I am already wounded. I have tried fighting in the past. I have voiced against the bullying, to only be hurt more and more. I have done everything I could to even reach my deathbed once. But it seems I didn't learn my lesson back then, as history was repeating again. Next, I know I was pushed back on the floor, and they surrounded me. I gulp, seeing their eye color changing, and that's when I did what any rational person would do. I ran. Yet again, not because I was afraid, but because I was too weak to fight them. Too weak to fight my honor. Too weak to protect myself. Too weak to live.